Yes,
Dickens,
we
I
can
want
hear
to
you.
thank you for coming up with this initiative. First of all, my apologies. I got an abrupt meeting which almost interfered with our engagement. I'm just from Busega. A client called me abruptly. So what I've done, I've parked by the roadside such that we have this engagement, then I can continue home. The topic for today's, first of all, I want to see who is online, and I can see signs, but I don't see display of names. But I want to welcome everyone who is on board.
Okay, here online we are having Elvis, we are having Malik, we are having Helen, we are having Isaac, we are having Faida Rose, and myself. Let's hope others will join.
You may ask or wonder why I came up with this topic, the art of personal financing. Myself, I've been a victim of personal financing, so I felt like sharing with us, and we see how to move on well in areas of financial management. I am one of the luckiest person who has had, I can say I've had money from the time I've finished school. I've not been on the street for long, but I want to tell you one of the challenges I've had is managing my money. So that's the reason why I came up with this initiative, such that we can learn something, or someone should not go through what I went through. Or if some of us have gone through it, it's not the end. So let's begin with the principles. Personal financing. Well, finance, what is finance? In this headline, there is person or personnel and finance. So these are two different concepts in our today's discussion. A person, we may say a human being, or a company, or a government, or a country. But finance is the act of collecting, allocating, controlling, and monitoring money. I want to make it as easy as possible. The art of collecting, allocating, monitoring, and controlling money. So those words are bigger. We may not exhaust them today. Finance can be at a personal level. So at a personal level, how do you collect, allocate, control, and manage your money? Those four statements are very key to our life journey or our financial success journey. At a personal level, you may have a job, you may have a business, you could be from a good family where you've inherited money and life is good. But how do you manage this money? We have seen many families where, for example, where the dad is off or where the parents are gone, the money is no more. So what goes wrong when I am no more? When my wife is no more, what goes wrong with the children? Oh, if I have my money, I have money. Today I don't have money. What happens? We've seen nations like Uganda The main source of income for Uganda is through tax collection and borrowing. As of today, Uganda's debt is $32.4 billion, which is around 116 trillion Ugandan shillings. So where is the problem? Where is that money? Who is managing this money? Who is controlling this money? Who is allocating this money? But our today's focus is on personal financing, not Uganda, not Kenya, not the globe. So let's look at sources of money. How do we get money? You can get money from having a job, doing a business, borrowing. Some people borrow to use debt and generate more money. But what happens along the way? There are those who inherit property, and there are those who are lucky. I have seen people who do betting. Someone bets and he wins a life-changing money. But the source of money, sometimes I say in this process, may be the easiest. What happens after we've gotten the money? Why have some of our colleagues ran fast compared to us? I may give you an example. We have come from the same class. We are the same age. We went through the same school. And we all went to universities. But why are some of us still struggling? I've told you I will use an example of myself. I finished university. Usually the last semester it ends in May. So I only went on street for 3 months. So I got a job in August, 3 months after completing university. But sometimes when I sit down and try to reconcile my age, the years I've worked, and the money which I've been paid in the employment and the other consultancies, I feel like there is a mismatch. But at the same time, I feel like it's not too late. So what are some of the mistakes we do in life when we get this money? I want to ask us a question. How many of us do ever draw a plan for a year? You may unmute and tell us how many of us here you have ever drawn a plan for a year. A plan is a statement of, let's say I may call them jobs, of the things you're going to do in a year.
Yeah, I think I have done that most of the years.
So one of the things which I've observed and discovered in myself, which has been giving me a hard time, is to live a day-to-day life. I may call it a day-to-day life. Just, the year has started, I go to work, I earn a salary. What happens after? The thing I told you that if I reconcile the money I've been paid just in employment, they don't match. So how many of us have a plan? Dickens, we may hear from someone else.
Isaac also says he has done that in the message. You can also use the chat room.
The chat room. Okay. So a plan is a statement of what we want to do in a year. While you live a life without a plan. Yes, Helen.
Hello. I hope I'm not too late to comment. We always make plans feeling them. Like everything to be how you wanted is the hard one.
And we are also coming to that. It's not a hard one. So to live without a plan gives no direction, gives no financial direction. If you look back in a year where you did not have a plan, you will find you wasted all the money you got in that year. You could have paid house rent, bought food, but you could have done better. So what do we learn from this? To make our money have a meaning, let's draw a plan. I want to tell you, when I met Dickens and we became close, for the last 4 years, we even have a WhatsApp group. We have another colleague. We are 3 people on a WhatsApp group. But I want to tell you, these last 4 years, they have made a significant change in my money and in my life. I can see value for money for the last 4 years because I've done things which I've failed to do in the last over 10 years from the time I started making money. So we are looking at key things we are going to do to have a financial success. Have a plan. Lifestyle. The second item is lifestyle. Which kind of life do we live? Dickens, I'm still on slide 1 because the slides, I did not want to congest them, but I can share a full comprehensive document after our presentation for people to refer to. Lifestyle, how do you live? I've told you clearly, I will use myself. I'm someone who likes dressing. I used to buy clothes, even clothes I don't need. I would find my house is full of clothes, shoes. Actually, there is a time I counted the shoes I had and clothes and valued the money which I had bought them at. I could buy a plot of land. And my house was full, a rented house, but I did not have a plot of land. Yet the clothes and the clothes and shoes I had could buy a plot of land. Are you hearing that? Eating habits. Eating habits. There are people who feel once I get money, no more beans, no more nuts. Chicken from Monday, chicken and nyama mbata from Monday up to Sunday. So what is your plan for the year? Are you going to eat until the year ends? Purchasing decisions. While other people are buying land, for you are more interested in buying cars. When I bought my first car, my line manager told me, I told my line manager that I was going to buy a car. He told me, do not buy a car. Buy land. The story was long. Even that car got an accident and I sold it as scrap after refusing advice. So for those who have not reached there, do not be like me. Take good choices to manage your finances. Comfort zone. I'm trying to be quicker because I see our time is likely to run so fast. Some of us will like a comfort zone. Yesterday I had a lecture and the gentleman, our professor, was telling us he sleeps for 4 hours only. Even the 4 hours, it is because he reaches a point where he cannot work anymore. But he told us that a few months ago, hackers stole money from his account. He had done a consultancy with Chinese where he was paid $3 million. And the Chinese, some hackers stole money from his account, around $200,000. And he noticed after 2 months that someone had grabbed money from his account. So guys, let's leave a comfort zone. For ladies, first leave that makeup. You can do that makeup when you have an investment. Another thing that has let us down and failed to manage our money is lack of a clear path of life. Do we ever define what we want to be in life? As of now, do we all know what we want to be in life? At where we are, you may find there is someone who still doesn't know what they want to be in life. The moment you define what you want to be in life, you will identify these stages you need to go through. And money is very key in these stages, which you are going to walk through to be what you want to be. For example, Dickens is a musician. The moment you identify that you want to be a musician, first of all, your education, maybe you will do a music course. Along the way, you will need the instruments. How are you going to finance these instruments? Where will you get money? This will instill financial discipline in you to allocate money appropriately. Are we together? Sometimes in such presentations, you may talk and talk alone.
We are together. Good evening, good day.
We are together.
Good evening, how are you?
Good.
Let's end this slide by looking at financial discipline. What is financial discipline? In a simple way, it is the ability to live within your means. If you are earning 1 million, can you manage to live within 1 million? If you're earning 500,000, can you manage to survive within 500,000 without borrowing? So let's also look at reasons why people have failed in life and why we've kept struggling and we are not catching up with our colleagues. One, unemployment. We know Uganda's unemployment levels are very high, but I want to assure you, if you are determined to get a job, with my little exposure, jobs are available. The biggest challenge we have, even when we get a job, even when you are given a job, you may not perform. I work for around 4 companies, 3 companies and 2 schools. And one of the tasks I've been given in many of these clients is to recommend and recruit. But I want to tell you, colleagues, sometimes it is challenging to recommend someone whom you know. I have had this discussion many times with Dickens, but he also has had challenges with the recommendations. We have recommended OBs. OBs have let us down. Even those who have not let us down in maybe fraudulent ways, someone can't work. They do not know they don't know what to do at work. Yet it is the same job, same course you did. And no one is going to give you hands-on. You must create a way of looking for hands-on. Sometimes, let's go to the next point, laziness. Some people have kept poor because of laziness. You don't like to work. Doing nothing. There are people who are doing nothing. For example, from the time we've finished school, there are people who have decided to not to do anything. Someone survives on only handouts. Calls you, Isaac, lend me 50K. You saw some time back when we posted on the group, people who were borrowing money and they were not paying. And these are guys who are sleeping in very good apartments. He borrows from me, he borrows from this. And for us who have a source of income, I encourage you to have multiple sources of income. In my first job, after university, I was working with Nakasero Hospital. After a year of work, the company did a restructuring and the finance people, we were the most affected, including me. My contract was terminated. I did not have money in the pocket. I did not have money in the bank. And we were to stop work with immediate effect. It was a Friday. We were given letters and we were told not to come back on Monday. So if maybe I had a side hustle, life was going to be a bit simpler, but I had to go to square one or square zero to start afresh. The other issue I've seen in practice is procrastination. Procrastination is a habit of say, I will do it tomorrow. That's what Helen was talking about. There is having a plan and implementation. The problem is not you acting. The problem is the issue of postponing. I will do it tomorrow. I will do it tomorrow. Me, I've ever lost a client because of I am coming tomorrow. I'm coming tomorrow. And sometimes you cannot give a reason why you have not gone to the client. And sometimes the client needs you for 5 minutes. Maybe a computer has shut down, but you are watching football. I don't know how many of us here like football. The other thing which has kept us behind is, I call it bad company, or being in long groups and social companies. I don't know which group do you belong to, but some time back I got financial challenges and I found myself alone. Someone who had a big congregation of people. I found myself alone and have come to realize that being alone is better than having a big chunk of useless people. Useless people may sound harsh, but in this sense, for example, if you have a group of 10 friends, when they need financial support, they call you. But when you need financial support, none of them picks your call, or none of them can advance 100,000. Colleagues, today is the 21st. Please change that group. Change that group, because we earn money from people. We don't earn money by magic. The people you live with are the people who are going to lead you to where money is. Okay, Dickens, I see our time is running so fast. Let's go to the next slide. Next slide, please. Slide number 1 has taken quite substantial time.
Do you want this, the cost of financial chaos, or what? Which one?
Slide number 2.
Is this the one?
First, go to the first one. Let's go to, this is the second one, right?
The second one is the cost of financial chaos.
So, on this slide, we are going to look at strategies we are going to use as we look for money. How are we going to access money? At what cost? Some of us who borrow money, where do you borrow from? I know one OB, he had a supermarket. He had a supermarket. It was these mini supermarkets. He was working with around working capital of 13 million. Then this gentleman, he borrowed 8 million from, I think I shouldn't disclose the company, but it's one of the primary and very prominent, I can say, money lenders. I want to tell you, our OB, he lost that supermarket because of the cost of money or the cost of borrowing. So as we try to finance and grow successfully, please, let's identify cheaper and reliable sources of money. Do not lose what you have now. Like last time I went to visit Malik. Malik, I wouldn't advise you, in case you want further financing, to stake your home, get more money, because the home is not an income generating asset. So there is a likelihood, if your calculations are not moving well, there is a chance that you lose a home. We have seen people I have an uncle who was a very rich man, supplying Red Cross, but they told him to leave the home. The man had a home worth like a billion plus. So let's try to run very fast. So the cost of personal financing, please, let's be conscious. Next slide, please. So as we grow financially at individual levels, there are 3 key levels we need to look at and know where we are. The moment you know where you are, you will know what to do. You will know where to invest. You will know where to spend. You will know where to borrow from. Financial security level, at this level, we are surviving. You can afford to pay house rent. For those who have homes, you can manage to put up a simple home. and pay school fees and maybe pay medical bills, but with no savings. That's the level of financial security at a personal level. So for all of us who are here, which level are you? Let's first look at level 2 and 3. Financial independence, this is sustainability. There is enough money. You have enough money to live without depending on others. Hey, Dickens, if you want to spend 10 million, you do not have to call me that you have 8, I lend you 2. I hear people saying, Watuka, you have reached Kampala. 3, financial freedom. At this level, you have enough money. You spend the way you want, even you have surplus. So where are we? Ladies and gentlemen. So as we grow financially, let's observe these levels, get to know where you are, such that you do not blunder financially. Dickens, next slide, please. So this idea of fueling the plan, all sources of income, we have almost talked about it. Employment, you will look for a job. I encourage all of us, those who don't have jobs, please look for jobs. And if you feel you're doing a job and you feel you have idle time, please fix on something. I always tell people that I cannot say I have money, but I say for me to realize my financial freedom, one of the businesses that helped me was a chapati business. And I was not flying chapati. Me, I would invest in chapati business. I put up a kiosk. I had 3 kiosks in Nakulabi. And one was paying me 40,000 every day. The one which was in the center, 2 were paying 20,000. So I had 80,000 per day. 80,000 per day. Where one kiosk was, I was paying 100,000 for a month. The other 2 I was paying 50-50. These kiosks were paying me more money than the job I was doing. So Rose, Helen, Isaac, putting a chapati kiosk, these are businesses which we look at as dirty. I am really convinced that all of us in the jobs we do, we can create time to do something else. Only that we tend to like a comfort zone. So 1 and 2 are done. Employment, business, those who can do big businesses, please plan to do hardware as we prepare for our old age. Property. Property like land. I am very happy Isaac is on board. Laws, Helen and Elvis, Mr. Malik, the 5 of us here, we have like an investment scheme, and very soon we are going to acquire our first property. We were supposed to acquire first property last month, but we did not get the best. So property is one of the things, land where you can invest, and in a few years you get a bigger return. Those who can afford to put up rentals, you can do that. Those who can manage to raise money and invest in securities, let's do that. Those who can buy shares in companies, let's do that. Savings and investments, they almost work hand in hand, but you must be able to differentiate between the two. Retirement, this is the money you get after you've retired, but let's not wait for retirement to make money because you will be embarrassed. Last year, I was working with a gentleman from Kamwenge. He retired. Bamums, actually, he did not retire. They told him to, he stepped off work 2 years before retirement, but he could not find another job. So in that process, he processed his NSSF. It was around 280 million. Then he told us that, my son, you can see here, this money is enough for me, I think, for my retirement. But I want to tell you, that gentleman tried to set up a farm, buy cattle, do this, but the thing did not work out. 200 million cannot be enough for retirement when you are idle. So guys, let's try to do something to finance ourselves. For us men, I want to challenge you, men, as we grow old, there is time for you alone. These things are not hearsay. There is a tendency, as parents grow old, children tend to sideline with the side of the mother. So I have a friend who is a pastor. He's a pastor. He also works for government. He told me, as a man, you know, there are ladies on the call, but men, as you grow old, try to make sure you have property which can raise money easily. Finance yourself. Otherwise, old age is not easy. Mukuru, let's run very fast. Our time is running. Let's go to the next slide. The strategies for income growth at a personal level. I think I have almost tackled the source of income. That one, we've talked about it. Invest, allocate money into projects, livestock, securities, estate. We have talked about that. Protect, adopt insurance policies for those who can't afford insurance. If you have your land, please put a fence. In case you can't afford an insurance cover, put a fence to protect your money. Let's go to the next slide, big man. I know you also have a meeting after here. Needs and wants. As we raise our money, let's learn to prioritize needs. Let's leave the wants. People, do not be like me. Me, I've told you open blank. I had shoes and shirts and trousers in the house which could buy me a plot of. Do not go. Sometimes I see people who laugh at others. That man is always putting on one trouser. He puts on one trouser and one shoe. And they know what they want in life. And it is not a crime to have one trouser and putting on one shoe every day. Make sure your shoe is clean, your trouser is clean. You can wash it at night, iron in the morning. Go and do your things. Old age will not tell that you used to put on one trouser. For the ones we can buy anytime when you have a lot of disposable money. Next slide, please. The budget, we talked about it. I would encourage us, all of us here, to always draw a budget. Draw a forecast of your income. How much income do I anticipate to make this year? What am I going to use this money for? The moment you implement that, and by the way, for the years I've tried a budget and a plan, I've always not had idle money. But the years before, I had a lot of idle money. Every time in the village there is an issue, it's you they call because they know money is always there. And you give it away. But I want to tell you, my friend, in these last few years, I don't have, I think even people ask what happened. I don't have money become the word of the day. Let's go to the next slide, please. This is the structure of a budget. A budget is a statement of your projected income and how you're going to spend. In all of the things we plan to do in this year, I would like each of us here, I know for us Marvins, it's a sure. I'm sure each member of our circle is going to get a plot of land. But on top of that, I want to challenge you people. Each of us plan to acquire a piece of land this year. It does not matter where the land is. Acquire a piece of land and ensure to get a genuine piece of land. Do not land into the long hand and you get a title which is already on a title. Okay, let's move, Dickens. We are almost coming to the end of our time. Savings, the foundation of growth. I would also encourage us to, one of the things I've used to accumulate money, I like postponing expenditure. Today I was with Elvis and Madame called me. And for me, it doesn't matter. Madame called me and said, when you left home, you said you are going to come back at 11 and come with food. I have postponed a few hours to spend. Let's practice this issue of postponing expenditure, especially if it is not very urgent. It is not. If you want to buy a shoe, can you buy it tomorrow? You never know. Between now and tomorrow, something constructive can come along the way. So this money which has stayed for a day, it increases your basket of saving and it can reach you in a positive way. On the same slide, I want to congratulate Dickens. You can see down there is a target funds education. Dickens went for a PhD. I would like also to encourage all of us, if you can still afford to go to school, please add on something. Education may take long to pay, but I want to assure you it pays. If you look at my profile, I have around 4 courses, but I won't tell you of recently, I find it easy to earn money. And I find it easy for people to associate with me because of my profile. And the more important people and effective people associate with you, the more, the better your personal finances. Let's move to the next slide, please. I want to make sure we don't, I know we delayed for around 10 minutes. Let's look at investment. I almost made a summary of the entire topic. As we raise this money, let's make smarter investment opportunities. Securities, they require somehow huge sums of money if you are to benefit well. But this middle part, the real assets or the real estate, land and rentals, then this other last part, business ventures. For one thing I want to remind you is that Africa, particularly Uganda, 85% of our wealth is in land. So there is no harm for you to invest in land. Sometime back, if you remember this judge called Bamugemerere, there is a time Uganda was planning to construct a standard gauge railway, and it was going to pass through one of some guy's land in Mukono. The guy said, my land has a rock, ekirombe, wano we bakuba amayinja gano ge bazimbisa. The man said, I want 2 billion because I was waiting for my kirombe to mature. And the man had bought the land, I think he said 13 million. But because the standard gauge railway is going to pass through, the man is asking for 2 billion. So guys, if you have a little money, please, land is a sure deal. Let's buy some land. The location does not matter. Just buy land. Next slide, please. For business, those who can manage a business, you do a job, start a shop, good. Managing liabilities and risk. So as we strive to make our lives better financially, how do you manage the risk? If you want to use borrowed money, how are you going to manage the risk? If you borrow money, you must pay. But there is a high risk associated with borrowing. Smarter borrowing, identify cheaper sources of borrowing. And I would like to encourage you people to make important friends or circles. Borrowing money from your colleague is the cheapest you'll ever find in life. And the times I've borrowed money from Dickens and Elvis, none of them has ever charged me interest. The times they have borrowed from me, none of us has ever charged the other interest. So your social capital is the only cheapest source of finance you can ever find, but you must be willing to pay back. Next slide, please. I think we are almost coming to the end. Digital tools for modern financing. That one we can, I will share the slide, then we'll look at it. Next slide, please. That one I will also share, we'll look at it. Since our time is fast spent, I would like to conclude, and it's a weekend, I know it's your family time. Identify multiple sources of income. Do smart investing. Practice financial discipline. This one I'm going to say it 3 times. Practice financial discipline. Live within your means, and actually, if you can manage, live less. Live below the lines which are within your means. Last time I was telling Dickens, when I was earning 300,000, I was very careful and I did a lot of things. If I look back, I did a lot of things when I was earning little money. It's not that I did a lot, but I was financially disciplined and I lived within my means. I was earning 300,000, but in 1 year, I cannot say I bought land, but if you ever visited me, you would think maybe this house is for a man who earns millions. So financial discipline is very key in whatever we do. Smarter investing, having alternative sources of income. For all of us here who are doing jobs, salary earning jobs, I want us to be honest with ourselves. For how long can you sustain yourself if tomorrow is a Sunday, if Sunday you receive the message that please so and so and so, like the way we are here on the call, do not come back on Monday. I want you to think about that. For how long can you sustain yourself? For today, I would like to stop at this. For the case of time management, it is the start. We will get better as we move on.